stuff you like, you can call me Ursa, and I love Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, but I'm gonna skip Emma and just go watch Clueless again, okay? Released in 1995, Clueless marked the start of a resurgence in teen movies, particularly ones based on classic literature. Without Cher and her ilk, there would have been no 10 Things I Hate About You, no O, no Cruel Intentions.
Ugh, as if!
Clueless, like Emma, is about a spoiled and arrogant young woman growing up.
Would you call me selfish?
Well, not to your face. The plot it goeth thusly. Emma/Cher is a sweet but spoiled aristocrat/litigator's daughter with a passion for matchmaking, who tries to set up her friend Harriet/Ty with someone in a much higher social circle with whom she hasn't much in common, while ignoring the person Harriet/Ty actually does like. Emma/Cher, through a series of events, eventually becomes a better person and a less meddlesome one. She kind of gets friendly with a dude who turns out to be engaged/gay, but eventually ends up with Mr. Knightley/Josh, the curmudgeonly big brother type who has her best interests at heart. And in Emma, at least when they get married, Mr. Knightley comes to live with Emma and her father rather than them all moving up to his house, which actually would have been kind of a big deal. So, you go, Mr. Knightley. At least 2 for you, Mr. Knightley. Okay, confession time. It took me roughly 600 out of about 900 pages to stop hating everyone in Emma. Jane Austen described our eponymous heroine as one that she thought that only she could love, and I really see that. I mean, I really warmed up to Emma by the end. I liked her and I liked Mr. Knightley, but oh. This is also the reason I haven't been watching Emma Approved. I mean, I tried, I did, and I know that the point is that Emma starts off meddlesome and annoying and gets less so, but I just can't get over the initial And Emma the book is boring. I mean, the last 200 pages rattle along pretty nicely and I actually quite enjoyed them, but the rest of it is just dull. It's a book about marriage and social status and class struggle, but not the bloody revolutionary kind of class struggle. Oh no, the kind which is glaring and party invitations and clutching of pearls. I mean, one of the reasons that people like Clueless better than Emma is because the characters are all, you know, much less annoying. That said, having read the book, I do now understand why people, you know, like Mr. Knightley. He is a bit of a grumpy old curmudgeon and he is way old for our heroine, but you know, he actually does seem like a decent, kind person once he gets over that whole grumpiness thing. But I do like Clueless. Why? It's funny, it's insanely quotable, and while all of the characters do inhabit some weird alternate universe 90s first world problems style high school thing, they're relatable. You can relate to them, at least a little bit, and that is important. That said, as a grown-up, the character to whom I relate the most is put upon curmudgeonly teacher Mr. Hall. Oh, Mr. Hall, I understand. Clueless also ditches Frank Churchill, thank goodness, I just find him so very irritating, and replaces him with Christian. Christian is A, gay, B, a really snappy dresser, and C, not annoying. Thank you so much for making this substitution.
What's with you, kid? You think the death of Sammy Davis left an opening in the Rat Pack?
I also love you, grumpy Mr. Litigator Horowitz. You're much better than hypochondriac Mr. Woodhouse. Okay, class. Emma, or Cher, gives Harriet or Ty the tools to think themselves, you know, to have high enough social standing to go after Elton or Mr. Elton. And when that falls by the wayside...
Don't you even know who my father is?
Ugh, you are a snob and a half.
Harriet and Ty are now sufficiently self-confident to think, hey, I can land Josh, Mr. Knightley, whichever, you know, we're going for here. Emma is absolutely horrified by this, because Mr. Knightley? No! This is all my fault, she thinks. I have given Harriet too much self-confidence. I have given her ideas above her station, and now she thinks that she, the illegitimate daughter of who knows who, can possibly aspire to marrying gentleman Mr. Knightley. And also Emma is in love with Mr. Knightley. Cher thinks that Ty isn't smart enough for Josh, basically, and also Cher is in love with Josh. There is, of course, the important neither man shows the slightest interest in, you know, Harriet or Ty, but this is where we diverge. As a modern reader, reading Emma, I don't care about the relative classes of Harriet and Mr. Knightley. I care that Harriet is sweet, but has little chirpy birds instead of thought processes quite a lot of the time, it seems. And so, you know, I don't think that she and Mr. Knightley would really gel. It's the same reason that I can't see Ty with Josh, or start of the movie Cher with Josh, or start of the movie Josh with Cher. The dating leagues, as it were, in Clueless aren't just about money, they're about intelligence and common interests and all sorts of other things, and the ever-nebulous social status which takes all of these things into account. But they can be changed. Your social standing can be changed in Clueless, and in Emma it can't, and that's kind of the biggest difference. Yeah, you conform to that gender-normative dressing tie, then you can land yourself a man. But that's alright, because Travis can then change his social standing as well, and everyone is happy. Emma the novel is largely about class, and it is tedious because of it. Because Emma spends so much time worrying about, oh, people have invited me to a party as if I were their social equal. Which is the equivalent of the Val party invite, by the way. I mean, I'm going to go because all of my friends are going, but how dare they think that they are equal to me to invite me to it? Oh, I clutch my pearls. Clueless has a lot more of the sort of prevailing US self-determinism, pull yourself up by your bootstraps even though that's not how physics works kind of narrative, and that is, for the most part, a good thing, because otherwise they would just be insufferable. Cher is not suitable for Josh at the start of the film because she's a bit shallow and superficial and she has no direction in her life. Josh is not suitable for Cher at the start of the film because he is a grumpy curmudgeon who doesn't really appreciate her and her potential. Both of them change, and both of them become better people, and both of them are then, you know, suitable for the other person. Emma becomes less meddlesome and inclined to think that she is right about absolutely everything. Mr. Knightley apologises for having been such a grumpy old curmudgeon. Both of them compromise. They get together, hooray. Ultimately, though, both Emma and Clueless reinforce the social expectations of their time and conventions of their time, because nobody marries or dates too far outside of that bounds of respectability and social standing thing. But aside from social mutability being a lot more palatable than class snobbery, there are two big reasons that I like Clueless better than Emma. First, and oh so importantly, Clueless isn't boring. And second, while Cher could have been a mindless, brainless stereotype, she's not. She is very much the proto-90s version of Elle Woods. And if you watched episode 91, you know how much I love Elle Woods. And those two things make the difference. So when it comes to Emma, I would skip the book because the first 2/3 of it are unbearably tedious and the final third is, you know, fine. There is a movie which was released in the same year as Clueless, which stars Gwyneth Paltrow, so if you're really into your period drama, I guess you could give that a shot. But I would definitely give Clueless a shot. After all, it's funny and it's arch and it's knowing and it's mocking, but gently. And depending on when you grew up, it's also kind of a helter-skelter trip down memory lane.